settings, like if you have used bloom in the post process setting, and if you switch it off, bloom will be gone, something like that. But I have never used it. I have controlled these values from the post process volume itself, but from here I have never used it. I have never used this. These are just thing, like if you have used a directional light and you switch it off, the directional light will be gone. If you go here and switch it on, then it will be affected. You can hide unhide a certain category of object in the scene or the viewport. You can hide unhide, but I don't use this because these are like, because they are not very useful while doing architectural scene. And these are this lighting component. Ambient occlusion will be off. If you have used any ambient occlusion in a scene, it will be off. If diffuse will be off, that light will be off. Can be switched on and off. Lighting features, these are the features which I have never used. Developer, I have never used any of these. Visualize, in all of this visualize panel, this depth of field layer, I will be showing you how to use this, because in all of them I have just, ever I have used anything in this, I have used this depth of field layers, which I will be showing you when I will be covering cameras. And at that time I will be showing you how you can set a proper depth of field on any object, and you can blur the foreground and background of the object to make it feel make a good effect of depth of field. So one thing to be noted is you can move the toolbar from one side to another or dock it, something like that. Like example, if this is the world outliner and I want to bring it on the left, so I can just click on it and I can just drag the mouse and I can dock it on the left, and then I can just do it like this. Again, I can just dock it here, take it from here, and then dock it at the bottom here. So you have to be aware of this. This is a very nice feature that you can just dock any toolbar, move it, place it somewhere. So there is an extreme level of modularity in Unengine interface where you can change things from left and right. But I will recommend to use the default classic layout, which I have shown you in the starting, like UE for classic layout. So this is the best because this gives you lots and lots of tools right away on the front in the viewport, where you can take advantage of the availability of the tools right in the in front. It's in right in the viewport itself. So I generally prefer this UE for classic layout, which is very handy to speed fast and efficiently. So I'm just going ahead and rearranging everything as earlier according to UE for classic layout. But you have to keep in mind that this whole interface is extremely modular. You can change things. You can just take this content browser, keep it here, dock it on the left, or like dock it on the left, dock it on the right, dock it on this or this, or maybe this here, everywhere, like anything. You can determine by your own, like how you want to keep your interface. So this is very handful and handy used like tool to be used, right? And if you like, you can also go back to the default viewport like UE for classic viewport. So you have to keep in mind this whole interface is extremely modular and you can modify or change anything accordingly. So now let's proceed towards understanding content browsers. Okay, so to explain or to understand what content browser is like content browser is the local library that is present inside the project itself. What that means, like this is content browser and the main folder for this content browser is this content. Okay, and what like to understand this, where it is available, we can just right click on it. To understand this content folder, what we can do is we can just go here in like this, and then we go to documents and then Unreal projects and then this tutorial. So inside this tutorial you will see this content folder here, and you'll also this content folder here. So everything that is present in this content folder inside is basically here. So in content folder, if I expand this content folder, it's merged the actor folder there present inside this. So if you go ahead and see content browser, there is a merged actor present here, and this collections is this collection here, and then this you will see UV map, and then main build asset U asset, that the big version of your like map is also there, that is named as always will be having the name build data and the name of the uh, main level that you are working in. So this will have UMAP and U asset as a light build, and this you can see here this main, it's in select its name main, the level of the name of the level is main, and you can also see here main dot UMAP. So the extension of a Unreal project is dot UMAP, and the name like extension of a Unreal asset is dot U asset. Okay, so this is the local library, like this content browser is local library where things are stored specifically of that particular project you are working on. So every project you create in an engine will have its own content folder that will act as a local library for that specific project in simple words. So now after that, what we can do is we can go ahead and then right click on this content browser and then make different shelves. Like if there is a library where we keep books or stocks or things, then we have lots of different types of we can have lots of different types of shelf in the library, and we can arrange things accordingly. Okay, so like I want to make a new shelf and name it as a static mesh actors, so static meshes. So I can name it as a static underscore meshes. One more thing is Unreal Engine doesn't like a space between two words. So whenever there is two words, either keep it without a space, keep it in conjunction, which will be looking a little bit awkward sometimes, or if you want to give a space between two words of while you are renaming something in an engine, always give underscore instead of spaces. This is how Unreal Engine works basically. After that, you can also create folders like by when I click on this content, and then I can just go here and right click and then also create a new folder from here. I can also right click here and click a new folder from here, or I can go here and click on add and create a new folder here. So after this, what you can do is you can right click on this empty area, and then you can click also import anything. So if you have any object that is in FBX format, then you can, or either any of this format, especially FBX format, you can import it, or you can also import any FBS in the content folder in the content browser by right clicking on the empty space here in the content browser, right click, and then you can click on import to game. You can also create a blueprint class, you can create a new level, you can also create a new level from here, file, and then new level, or you can also create a material. So I will explain this material editor of Unreal Engine in depth later on when we will be coming to material. But you should be aware that you can create a new material inside content browser by right clicking on the empty area and clicking on this. You can also create various different things which are not specifically related to architecture, and the one that is related to architecture I will be covering all of them, like this level sequencer, camera animation sequencer, and then if you go here artificial agency, like artificial intelligence bendable, I don't think so. I don't use options available from here because they are not so good for architecture, but few of them are important. But I will show my way of using Unreal Engine, these tools in Unreal Engine. So the basic important among all of these is like create a new folder, import FBX object or any object that can be imported, that you want to import into the content browser and then bring and drop it in the scene. You can import it from here, you can create a new level, and you can also create a new material from here. And these are different things which you should go ahead and see what they are. But I will recommend to experiment this when you have completed the entire this when you have completed the entire course. After that you can go ahead and see if you something is very interesting to you or not, or something you want to use it. And after that, if you need something, you can clearly identify its use by your own, because you will have a complete overall knowledge of the Unreal Engine. That will help you to find the usability of any options available here. But the main thing, when you right click on it and then drag and drop it, right click on it, and then you can find this new folder, material, and import games. This is the main thing which you will be using in like repeatedly. Okay, so if I select this object, press Ctrl B or right click and then click browse asset, what you can do is like you can drag and drop objects in the scene using this content browser. So suppose I have this folder where I have some basic objects and I want to bring this cylinder into the content browser, or this cube into the content browser. So what you can do is you can just left click on this and then drag and then drop it into the viewport. You can bring it up and then press end button to snap it. Okay, and now if I want to apply a material, I have to find a material in the content browser and I can drag and drop this material on this object, or I can just select this material and I can go here in details panel in the materials and I can apply this material on this. So suppose if I press Ctrl Z and now there is no material and I have to apply this material, I can just drag and drop this material on the surface and it will be applied. Or I can just select the material in the content browser and I can go here in material element 0 and I can just click on apply. So this will apply it and this button will find that material. So if this material is there and I want to find the location of this material, I can just click on browse and it will find the location of the material. It's here. If I select this object and then click on this browse, it will find this material in the content browser. And you should also be aware that you can just drag and drop anything from the content browser and put it in the scene or viewport. It's very easy. And also when you right click on it, like right click on any object or any element in the content browser, you will see different kind of options, and among those options few are very important one which I am going to explain, and the one I don't use or the one that is not relevant to architectural features, I will skip them. So let's start with this first one, nanite. So when I go ahead on any object, right click on it, I can see the first option is nanite. So by default, when you create and put the object in the scene, it will not be a nanite mesh. So what you have to do is when you are importing any object into FBX, at that time you can name it as like you can make it nanite, or you can just find the object you want to convert it into a nanite mesh in the content browser, right click on it, go on to nanite and click on enable. So the moment you will click on enable, that object will be converted into a nanite mesh now. So this is a nanite mesh now. And when suppose you want to disable the nanite feature, you have to right click on it, go on nanite and click disable. So you can disable it also. If you want, you can enable or disable any objects, whether it's a normal static mesh or whether it's a nanite static mesh or nanite mesh. So to enable or disable, you have to right click, nanite, enable, and then disable. Level of detail, I generally don't use it. Remove vertex color, I don't use it. If you have imported, see this box has been created inside, this is already there. Like if you create this box from, you go here and then cube, it's Unreal Engine's internal feature. Okay, so this is not being imported from any third party application. it's already available. This is a feature where you can create a cube, right, man? A cube map. Sorry, you can create a cube. So if you right click on it, re-import or all these options